This is Bill Brady, One United Body, speaking on the topic of the spoke about the ages as being a way to measure our level of spiritual growth. It's just like being 2 years old or 5 years old or 7 years old. Today we'll talk about the kingdom age. Before I do that, let me just put this in perspective. First age is church age, second age is kingdom age, third age is ecclesia age or the age of the ecclesia, and the fourth age is the age of Melchizedek. Kingdom age is the age that the book of Acts is that the book of Acts occurred in. Every age has a structure. It's the same structure for every age, but there's different names for each parts of the structure in each age. So for the kingdom age, the name of the age is the kingdom age. There's two pillars. First pillar is the doctrine of the prophets. In other words, it's the teaching, the content of the teaching that the prophets teach. And the second one is the doctrine of the apostles. In other words, it's the content that the apostles teach. And then above these two pillars, there are 5 stones, one after another. First stones are what we call arch stones, and the fifth stone is what we call a capstone. First arch stone is evangelist. Second arch stone is shepherd. Third arch stone is teacher. Fourth arch stone is prophet. The fifth stone, which is the capstone, is apostle. These 5 stones are in a particular order. So if you were in a village somewhere and had never heard about Jesus, an evangelist would arrive first and proclaim the gospel to you. Then a shepherd would gather the people who had received the revelation that was proclaimed by the evangelist. Then a teacher would come along and teach those who had been gathered together. Those who are being taught are what we call disciples. Then a prophet would teach these people how to hear God, how to see what God is showing them, and how to speak in prophecy. And then an apostle would come along and finish it up. So again, the overall structure and function of an age is that there is a name of the age. In this case, it's the kingdom age. Then there are 2 pillars. And then there are 5 stones that are an arch from the top of one pillar to the other pillar. The function of the pillars of the kingdom age is to teach you doctrine. What is doctrine? Doctrine is revelation that is passed along from generation to generation. It's the kind of thing that the Apostle Paul told Timothy to teach to the ecclesias that he was involved with. Paul originally taught it to Timothy, then Timothy taught it to others. And then Paul told him to find others that would be faithful and able to teach, that would pass it along to others. So doctrine is revelation that is passed along from generation, spiritual generation to spiritual generation. So the kingdom age, when you first encounter the kingdom age, the primary way you encounter it is an apostle or prophet is teaching you about it. Now, these 5 stones, an evangelist proclaims the gospel to you. But what the evangelist also does is teaches you how to proclaim the gospel to others. Another way of saying this is the evangelist is a sower. Yeshua spoke about the sower going out to sow. That was him going out to proclaim truth as a seed, sows the seed. We know from the parables that depending on what kind of soil the person's heart is, that seed might grow in them or not grow in them. Then a shepherd would gather you as a new believer into a group called an ecclesia, but the shepherd also teaches you how to gather others. And there are many levels of gathering, just like there's many levels of proclaiming truth. There's actually many gospels to be proclaimed. Now, don't trigger on that. I'm not saying that there's true and untrue gospels that we're to proclaim. There's a gospel of basic salvation, believing in Yeshua. There's a gospel of the kingdom, which is associated with the kingdom age. There's the gospel of peace. There's various gospels. Paul said that he was given a specific gospel to preach, to proclaim. So a gatherer, there's many levels to gather. And even if you're not called to be an evangelist, you are called to sow, to proclaim truth. Take the seed and sow it. Even if you're not called to be a shepherd, you are called to gather. Even if you're not called to be a teacher, you are called to teach, but just not at the same level of teaching. And even if you're not called to be a prophet, you are called to hear God and see visions. And even if you're not called to be an apostle who sends others, you are called to be sent. So the scripture says that some are called as evangelists, some are called as shepherds, some are called as teachers, some are called as prophets, some are called as apostles, but everybody is called to function in sowing. Everybody is called to function in gathering. Everybody is called to function in teaching, not necessarily to the level of being called as a teacher, but everybody's called to teach. I mean, parents teach, right? And not everybody's called to be a prophet, but everybody's called to be able to hear what God says to you and to see visions and to speak prophecy. Almost everybody speaks prophecy. Okay, so that's basic understanding of the kingdom age.